The cycle of violence in Gaza deepened further this week as Israeli forces intensified air and ground assaults across the besieged strip, killing dozens of Palestinians just days after a controversial and deadly strike on a Christian church. Compound in central Gaza claimed 3 lives. The latest bombardments, carried out overnight and through the day, targeted several areas in northern and central Gaza, including neighborhoods in Gaza City and Deir al-Balah. Palestinian health officials reported that at least 68 people, including children and women, were killed in the past 24 hours. Many others remain trapped under rubble as emergency services scramble to locate survivors amid the destruction. The violence comes in the wake of an Israeli strike that hit the compound of the historic St. Porphyry's Greek Orthodox Church in Gaza City. The church, one of the oldest Christian sites in the region and a sanctuary for hundreds of displaced Palestinians, became a tragic symbol of the war's indiscriminate nature. 3 Palestinians, including a child, were killed in that strike, prompting international condemnation and renewed calls for restraint. A humanitarian catastrophe deepens. Gaza's humanitarian crisis is worsening rapidly. More than 1.9 million Palestinians have been displaced since the beginning of the war. Most are struggling to find safe shelter in the overcrowded southern region, where food, medicine, and fuel are in dangerously short supply. Hospitals, already crippled by fuel shortages and damaged infrastructure, are overwhelmed. According to the Palestinian Ministry of Health, the majority of casualties from the recent attacks were civilians. Doctors Without Borders described the scenes at Gaza's remaining functional medical facilities as apocalyptic, with operating rooms running without anesthesia and children being treated on blood-soaked floors. Church strike sparks global outcry. The strike on St. Porphyry's Church has drawn particularly strong backlash from religious leaders and humanitarian organizations. The Greek Orthodox Patriarchate of Jerusalem condemned the attack, stating that targeting a place of worship violates all principles of international law and religious sanctity. Pope Francis, in a statement from the Vatican, called for an immediate ceasefire and urged leaders to protect every innocent soul, regardless of faith or nationality. Israeli officials, however, defended the operation, claiming the area near the church compound was being used by Hamas militants for military purposes. The IDF said it regrets any civilian casualties and promised to conduct an internal investigation. Calls for ceasefire grow louder. Despite mounting civilian casualties and worsening conditions on the ground, diplomatic efforts to secure a ceasefire have so far failed. Secretary General Antonio Guterres reiterated his call for an immediate humanitarian truce, warning that the region is on the brink of a broader catastrophe. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken expressed deep concern over civilian deaths in Gaza, but maintained that Israel has a right to defend itself. The U.S. continues to push for humanitarian corridors and aid deliveries, though many aid groups report being unable to safely access the worst-hit areas. The cost of war, the death toll in Gaza has now surpassed 15,000 since the war began, according to local authorities, with over 70% of the victims believed to be women and children. Israel has lost over 1,400 people, mostly in the October 7 Hamas-led attack that triggered the conflict. With no sign of de-escalation in sight and the death toll rising daily, international pressure is mounting for both sides to agree to, at least, a temporary halt in fighting. For the people of Gaza, those huddled in church basements, hospital corridors, and makeshift shelters, every day without peace is another day of unimaginable suffering.